In the headlines, NLC TUC demand democratic restoration in rivers. Explosion rocks army barracks in Borno. ICPC investigates discrepancies in disbursement of student loans. On the foreign scene, DR Congo seeks to lift former President Kabila's immunity over alleged war crimes. Hello and welcome to Trust TV's news update. I am Hawa Adam Kiawa. The 2025 Workers' Day celebration in River State took a different turn as the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC and the Trade Union Congress, TUC, held separate rallies at their respective secretaries, calling for the restoration of democratic governance and improved welfare for workers. In obedience to their national secretariats, which had earlier called for the May Day rallies, members of the NLC gathered in large numbers at the secretariat, clad in union uniforms and carrying placards demanding an end to what they described as an unconstitutional assault on democracy. The River State NLC chairman, Alex Agwanwo, in his remarks, restated the national body's condemnation of the removal of elected state officials, calling the action a reckless outreach of executive power. In an unexpected twist, the state's acting head of service and the secretary to the state government attended the NLC event without prior invitation. They were not scheduled to address the workers. The secretary of TUC in River State, Sunday Danagogo, echoed similar concerns, calling for an immediate end to emergency rule in the state and warning of its economic and social consequences. Workers also received a goodwill message from the suspended governor of River State, Similanaya Fubura, who praised workers for their resilience, professionalism and courage in the face of what he described as political and socio-economic challenges. In another story, the 2023 presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, and his People's Democratic Party, PDP counterpart, Atiku Abubakar, have celebrated Nigerian workers on the occasion of the Workers' Day. Obi, in his message on May 1st, said workers have shown their resilience and commitment to national growth despite the harsh economic realities. The former Anambra governor also decried the level of unemployment in the country, putting the figure at 35%, and called on the federal government to ensure that youths are duly employed to reduce criminal activities and other social vices. For Atiku, the Nigerian workers stand as the indomitable engine propelling the nation towards its long-sought prosperity. Amid deepening economic woes and rising inflation, Nigerian workers marked this year's May Day with mixed emotions, celebrating their resilience while renewing calls for better welfare and urgent action on a new minimum wage. Trust TV's Abubakar Abdullahi Galadima reports.
In an economy where inflation eats away at wages and cost of living continue to soar, workers and civil society members gathered not just to celebrate, but to raise their voices. Their message was unified and urgent. Governments at all levels must act decisively to ease the burden on the working class.
It's a great day because this is the only day we have as workers to celebrate ourselves, at least to take a scorecard. Are we going forward or we are going backward as a Nigerian worker? There are so many things if the government do it to increase our productivity, like the minimum wage that we have heard they are supposed to give us. Some persons are paid, some persons are not gotten, and that makes the productivity, because concerning the economic situation of Nigeria now, It is so difficult. Even the minimum wage is not even enough.
Yes, we are appealing for government. Actually, the 70,000 naira minimum wage they say they have given is nothing to be called upon, because the wage, what is going on in the country now, 70,000 naira cannot be able to buy anything, which means definitely that the inflation rate in the country now is very, very poor. So we want government to look into it so they can do something to enumerate our workers' day, so that many of the workers can go home and smile.
Our appeal to government work is to look into a civil service sector and know how to reform it to make it a better place for people to work. In government, civil servants cannot beat his chest unless you get to that apex of your career.
They spoke of delayed salaries, inadequate working conditions, and the growing disconnect between policy promises and the life realities. The new Minimum Wage Act 2024 remains a focal point, but for many, it is just one piece in a broader fight for dignity, security, and fairness in the workplace. Also weighing in, the Assistant General Secretary of the Nigeria Labour Congress, Onoyeka Chris, emphasized that workers remain the engine of national development, and yet they continue to be sidelined.
The Nigerian worker has been impoverished continuously. The salary they pay us now, the value of the minimum wage now in 2019 is 15,000 naira. And so it means that the real wages of workers are eroding as we speak. Workers are already doing the right things. All we are asking is that you pay workers well. We advocate for issues around workers. We advocate workers' issues. And we ensure that we train workers also. And we talk to ourselves through trainings, through capacity building, on the need for us to remain more productive. His appeal was pointed, government must stop treating workers as expendable. Prioritizing their welfare isn't just a moral obligation, it is an economic necessity. May they then become more than a tradition, it is a mirror of Nigeria's workforce. As workers march home with their placards and hopes in hands, one question echoes louder than ever. Will this year mark a turning point or just another missed opportunity? Abubakar Abdullahi Galadima, Trust TV News, Abuja.
On the same note, Nigeria has been faced with a series of economic challenges that have raised concerns among the populace since the coming of the Tinubu administration. And inflation rates saw the impact on the workforce is becoming increasingly evident, with many Nigerians lamenting their decrease in purchasing power. As Nigerians mark this year's Workers' Day, Trust TV's Aisha Abdulmumini speaks with some of the workers on how they have been coping with the harsh economic situation. Her report.
Across the FCT, most civil servants share heartbreaking tales of how the biting economy has affected their daily lives. They appeal to the government to effect an upward review of the new minimum wage, lamenting that their monthly income is not enough to cover basic needs like transportation and feeding.
The further call for a new minimum wage is very, very justifiable, especially considering the cost of food items, the cost of utility bills, the cost of living in Nigeria. Everything has skyrocketed. I must tell you the truth that an average Nigerian worker is just living by the mercies of God. Because I must tell you, even up till now, some states are yet to implement the minimum wage. So some workers are even still living by the previous minimum wage.
People are suffering, and that is the truth. The money has been devalued. We need the currency to have value, so that people can have value for their money. Whatever you are buying, you should buy. You can decide to increase the minimum wage to 1 million, whatever it is. But once the economic is bad, it's bad. What we are saying is that they should fix the economic of this country so that people can have access to goods and services. Their money can buy what they want to buy in the market, and there will be value for their money in the market. The government, I don't really know, because for me, I don't work with the economic team of the government. That's the gospel truth. But from what we're hearing, they say they are trying their best, and for me, I think their best is not good enough. That's the truth.
If it is anything, it's over justifiable, because even now, presently, I don't even know if there is anything minimum wage. That's the simple truth. There is nothing like minimum with the economic reality of Nigeria. The economic reality seriously is biting on the Nigerian workers seriously, because what we earn as salary cannot even take you home. If you earn salary as a worker, within a week, you are already indebted. You understand? Then why should you call that one that you are a civil servant? You are not a civil servant. We are just laboring. The economic situation of Nigeria is not favoring anybody.
The chairman of the FCT Council of the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, Audipo, urged the government to come up with allowances other than the minimum wage that will help Nigerians survive the harsh economy.
Government have all it takes to review it. It may not be minimum wage. They can come up with another allowances. During President Mohamed Buhari, he passed an executive order that wage award. He talked about peculiar allowance. And the peculiar allowance, he helped a lot of civil servants. And they're still there. Why the present government can equally look at that, something like that, and inject into the worker's salary, it will go a long way to help us. Apart from minimum wage, however, they say minimum wage will be reviewed 3 years, no more 5 years. But what we are seeing today, because of the floating of naira, because the exchange rate is nothing to write home about, nothing. The minimum wage is nothing before any workers. The 70,000 cannot do anything for average Nigerian workers now.
One consensus among Nigerian workers as they mark the day is a call for a review of the minimum wage, which they all say is not enough to sustain them in the face of a surging inflation. Aisha Abdulmuminu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Moving on, residents of Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, have been reacting to the explosion that rocked the Giwa Barracks Armory in the state. Reports say although no life has been reported lost, residents were thrown into panic mode following the blast. Trust TV's Beatrice Kursi has more.
Sounds of explosions and shots rocked the night beginning from 10 p.m. on Wednesday and lasted for at least an hour. Some Maiduguri residents said the explosion gave them sleepless night as they feared it was a Boko Haram attack before they were later informed that it was a fire outbreak in Giwa Barracks.
My only take on this is the government puts some machineries or some measures to prevent this occurrence in the near future. Because although all the part of the military and the police come out and makes a statement that makes people calm down, and then people this morning or every places, everybody are doing their own normal activities.
It caused a lot of panicking situation to many, especially those who are very close to the area where it happened. Okay. But the government agency has been able to nip it to the board, we're able to manage it so that there's calmness in the city. This is the reason why we're also here today for the media, otherwise nobody will come here.
Yesterday, it is really disturbing because I didn't sleep last night until I saw the news that what are the fire outbreak in the Giwa Barracks. But that time I was really shocked and because of the explosion and the hearing. So I didn't get peace of mind last night.
In the meantime, the Theatre Command of Operation Hadinkai has released a statement explaining that the armory explosions were triggered by the extreme heat in the city.
At approximately 23:30 hours on April 30th this year, a significant explosion occurred at one of our ammunition storage facilities situated within Giwa Barracks. These incidents caused widespread panic among the local populace. The explosion was due to the intense heat currently prevailing in Borno as well as other regions of the country, which had a direct impact on our storage facility. Fortunately, the situation was swiftly brought under control through the collaborative efforts of military firefighters, the Federal Fire Service, as well as the Borno State Fire Service Departments and various firefighting vehicles from security agencies. Civilians in the immediate vicinity were also relocated to prevent any harm to the public.
For now, normalcy has already returned in the metropolis. Beatrice Kuruti, Trust TV News, Maiduguri.
The chairman of Northeast Governors Forum and Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum has expressed concern over the recent resumption of attacks by insurgents across the region. He said the attacks are capable of undermining the successes already recorded in the theatre of war. Zulum stated this on Thursday at the opening of the 11th meeting of the forum in Damaturu, Yobe State. He urged the military to revisit its operational strategy to ensure that it becomes more offensive. Yobe Governor Mimala Buni, in his welcome address, also stressed the importance of synergy between the states and federal government, as well as security agencies, towards checking the resurgence of attacks by insurgents. The Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission has commenced a comprehensive investigation into alleged discrepancies surrounding the disbursement of student loan under the Nigeria Education Loan Fund. The National Orientation Agency had alleged that certain schools working together with some banks have purposely delayed payments to students who qualified for loans so they could make money off the situation. This was followed by a media report which alleged that some institutions made unauthorized deductions ranging from 3,500 naira to 30,000 naira from each student's institutional fees received through the loan fund. In a statement on Thursday by the ICPC spokesman Demola Bakari, the commission stated that its chairman's special task force immediately commenced investigations upon receiving the allegations. He noted that the anti-graft agency's preliminary findings reveal that while the federal government had reportedly released 100 billion naira for the scheme, only 28.8 billion naira was dispersed to students, leaving a massive unaccounted sum of 71.2 billion naira. Another story, despite the alleged 1.2 trillion naira digital trading fraud that reportedly affected over 600,000 Nigerians, the embattled crypto bridge exchange trading platform accused of these acts has resumed operations, announcing fresh withdrawal options in a move to restore investor confidence. Two traders on the CBEX platform confirmed on Wednesday that the digital trading firm has quietly resumed operations, allowing new users to register, trade, and withdraw profits despite ongoing investigations by regulatory agencies. According to the sources, an insurance verification process and an external audit of the company's financial records are currently underway to ascertain the actual amount lost in the scheme, which collapsed in April. They added that existing investors, many of whom have been unable to access their funds for weeks, will be able to take out their funds starting from June 25, 2025, when the audit is expected to be concluded by an insurance firm based in the United Kingdom. This development comes barely weeks after the Securities and Exchange Commission declared the platform illegal, and the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission confirmed an ongoing investigation into the firm's operation. CBEX, a digital investment platform, offered investors 100% profit after 30 days of purported AI trading. This is news updates on Trust TV. Coming up after the break. Experts blame vaccine resistance on myths, misinformation, urge citizens' education. More news when we return. Do stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is News Update on Trust TV. Let's look at our top stories again. NLC, TUC demand democratic restoration in Rivers. Explosion rocks army barracks in Borno. Moving on to more stories, health experts and indeed Nigerians have called for a holistic approach to achieve a zero-dose nation and encouraged mothers to take vaccination seriously to secure the future of their children. They stated this while speaking with Trust TV's Lillian Ogazi as the 2025 World Vaccination Week comes to an end. Her report.
Nigeria disproportionately accounts for 2.2 million of 4.4 million zero-dose children in West Africa, the highest in the world. This makes the World Vaccination Week an important one as the nation seeks to achieve greater penetration and acceptance of vaccines. As the week comes to a close, one message rings louder than ever. Vaccines work and they save lives. Across the globe, there are records of vaccines protecting, preventing and preserving lives. From smallpox to polio and measles to COVID-19, millions of lives have been saved, families spared and futures secured due to timely vaccinations. In Nigeria, however, resistance still lingers, fueled by fear, misinformation and mistrust. Only 23% of children were fully vaccinated, according to the expanded program on immunization schedule, leaving many wondering what can be done to close the vaccination gap in Nigeria.
Nigerian Medical Association and others commemorate this World Immunization Week to create awareness. And resistance, as you said, is usually the failure of the people, either due to some peers to take vaccines, as I told you, because of some misconceptions, some due to some beliefs, some socio-cultural factors are the ones that added to this resistance. And then to mitigate this kind of resistance is usually a collaborative approach. We need everybody on board, from as an individual, the community, the government, and the traditional institutions come on board and ensure that we mitigate these misconceptions, because there are varying misconceptions. Some misunderstand during vaccinations, particularly in the rural communities. There are misconceptions. Some will say that human papillomavirus vaccine, some attributes that it causes infertility, that it's a form of reducing the population.
Year in, year out, despite rallies held in celebration of the World Vaccination Day, numbers don't indicate that there have been an effective strategy for improving vaccination statistics over the years, as Nigeria still accounts for the 2.2 million of the 4.4 million zero-dose children in West Africa. Through rallies like this by the primary healthcare, Nigerians have been speaking on the importance of vaccines and vaccination.
Vaccination is very, very important, especially we mothers. When you are pregnant, it's good to attend the antenatal. When you attend the antenatal, they will give you all the necessary treatment to make sure that your baby is healthy. After the delivery again, you can take your child to prenatal. Then they will be checking and be giving the necessary vaccine to prevent different diseases.
So the importance of vaccination is for us to prevent our child from all the vaccine preventable disease, and it is necessary for all mothers, all caregivers to take their children for vaccination right from the birth till the normal time they're supposed to expire for the vaccination. So it is good. I encourage mothers, I encourage fathers, everybody take your children, take your wards for vaccination at all the primary healthcare center.
Yeah, we are just celebrating this African Vaccination Week just to make people aware of the importance of vaccine, because vaccine is important to prevent some certain diseases such as polio, cervical cancer, and some other vaccine preventable diseases. So through this, we believe people will be aware.
Although the World Vaccination Week may be ending, but the fight for a healthy nation through vaccine administration continues. Lilian Ogazi, Trust TV News, Abuja.
On a similar note, the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, says over 2 million children are vulnerable to diseases due to lack of access to immunization services. This, according to UNICEF, is due to security challenges in the Northeast. It disclosed this at the one-day media dialogue in commemoration of 2025 World Immunization Week held in Damaturu. UNICEF said that the zero-dose target it intends to achieve is constrained by insecurity, poverty, inadequate access to communities and healthcare infrastructure, including vaccine rejection. The Yobe State Commissioner of Health, Muhammad Gana, called on stakeholders, especially the media, to help reduce the alarming statistics through effective publicity for vaccination campaigns and advocacy for equitable immunization coverage that protects vulnerable children from outbreak diseases.
Yeah, the African Vaccination Week, the World Immunization Week, is a week-long, is a week that is dedicated for the commemoration of immunization. It's basically meant to sensitize the general public on the importance of immunization, which is a cost-effective strategy towards the prevention of the vaccine-preventable diseases. As we all know, we face so many outbreaks of diphtheria, meningitis, cholera, and the rest. And all these are, vaccine preventable. Having seen all this, we saw that there is need to actually have a renewed drive towards ensuring that our populations accept and receive immunization.
We are in the week-long period of the World Immunization Week, and so also that coincides with the National Immunization Plus Days activities, which is geared towards providing communities, individuals with protection against polio viruses. So it's more like a situation that presents itself for us to leverage on what we are doing to improve coverage for immunization and also ensure people are rich with important vaccines that prevent them against quite a number of vaccine preventable diseases.
Away from Nigeria, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, DRC, has taken a historic step by officially requesting the removal of parliamentary immunity for former President Joseph Kabila, citing serious allegations including war crimes and support for armed rebellion. Justice Minister Constant Mutamba announced that the Congolese military prosecutor has submitted a formal request to the Senate to lift Kabila's immunity. As a former head of state, Kabila holds the status of senator for life, which currently protects him from prosecution. Authorities claim to have evidence implicating Kabila in war crimes, crimes against humanity, and the massacre of civilians and soldiers, particularly through alleged support for the M23 rebel group. M23 has been active in North Kivu, where its offensives have destabilized the region and displaced millions. Joseph Kabila ruled the DRC from 2001 to 2019 before leaving the country in late 2023 and has been residing primarily in South Africa. And with that, we've come to the end of news updates on Trust TV. Make sure you follow us on all our media platforms and watch us on our YouTube live stream for more news. I am Hawa Adamikiawa. Thank you for watching.